What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another amazing episode of Voice of the Fans podcast. Got my man Cleavon up there in the Northwest. How you doing, sir?
Doing fantastic, Cam.
Down here in Southern California, well, the weather's been just perfect, Cleavon. A little overcast, about 72 degrees today. Um, the overcast, always burn off right about 1 or 2 o'clock. So on your commute home, man, you do got bright, beautiful skies here. And it's about 72 degrees, man. It'll be hot enough soon enough. So I'm enjoying these days, man. What's the weather like up there?
Cam, it was fantastic last week. Mid 70s, absolutely fantastic. But it's been a little breezy the last couple of days. Not gonna lie to you, a little overcast, a little drizzle, typical Seattle weather. So, mid 60s for right now. But hopefully we make that turn and have some better weather.
So you can't stay away from that drizzle for too long, right?
That's true. That's true talk.
Cleavon, this week, man, we got a lot to talk about. Let's let the fans know. This week in the Voice of the Fans, we're gonna talk about this NBA play-in tournament. Are you excited yet? You got your blood boiling a little bit.
Absolutely excited about the whole premise of the whole thing. It's worked out beautifully.
We're gonna talk about obviously the NBA playoffs. We got some predictions we're gonna talk about. NFL minicamp was had minicamp this week or this past weekend on Friday. Actually, it lasted Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but the media was only available on Friday. Excuse me. So got a chance to talk to the head coach, talk to the GM, talk to the player, talk to a couple players. So Chargers minicamp is underway, and as well as minicamp for most of the teams were this past weekend. So gonna have some conversations around that if you care. Cleveland, we got this day in history, one of the hottest segments in all the podcast land. So we got this day in history where we're gonna talk about. So I want to always give a shout out to the guys at H&B Media. If you haven't followed them yet, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice by not following them. H&B Media on YouTube. Go ahead, check them out. H&B Media TV on YouTube. Go ahead, check them out. They're there. You can find this podcast there. You can also find this podcast, obviously, on the Voice of the Fans podcast. On the Voice of the Fans on YouTube or however you listen to a podcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify. If you're on the go, if you're working out, if you got working in the garage, or you got some errands to run and you're going on your walk, listen to our podcast. Check it out and give us some feedback, man. Everybody listening to our podcast, I can see the numbers. I see a lot of you guys are listening to us, but I'm not getting no feedback. Let me know what you think. All feedback is good feedback. Good or bad, all feedback is good feedback. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you want to talk about. All sports related. Nobody's nobody's getting in their feelings over here. We're not gonna go on a 3-day rant on IG because you say something bad about the podcast. We want you. I'm gonna ask you to join us first and foremost, but let's hear what you got to say. So Cleveland, every week we start our podcast off with their numbers. This week is number 19, with it being May 19th, 2021. And we have our week is 139, so we're gonna go with the number 39. Cleveland, when you think of the number 19, who comes to your mind first, or who wore that number the best?
Cam, ironically, the person that comes to mind first is a guy that used to play receiver for the San Diego Chargers, a guy named Lance Allworth. I always thought about getting the powder blue Lance Allworth jersey back in the day. He's like the first person that comes to mind. Like, ooh, that would have been crispy. I really was leaning towards getting that. Never did quite get to it. So, oh well. But the person that probably wore it best was, Johnny Unitas. Quite possibly one of the top 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Johnny U, huh? Come on. Is he in the top 10 list anymore? He can't be in your top 10 list. In 2021, he can't be in your top 10 list.
It's quite possibly in the top 10, Cam. I haven't gone through all the numbers, but
I mean, we might have to go through this list later in the show if you're gonna put Johnny U in your top 10 right now.
Johnny U.
We might have to go through the. Not saying he wasn't, with the black high tops. He didn't catch your eye. Not saying that, but come on, if he's in your top 10 list right now today,
48 straight games with a touchdown pass. I'm just saying.
we gonna have to go. We gonna have to go through your top 10 list. We're gonna because come on. In fact, let's wait no longer. Your top 10 list: Dan Marino, obviously, Jim Kelly.
Cam, I'm not going to go into
Okay.
the top 10 quarterbacks of all
I
time
mean,
right now just to validate that Johnny Unitas deserves to be in the top 10. That's a conversation for another time.
Okay, we're gonna have to revisit that one, fans. See what I'm talking about? See, Cleveland want to say something, and then just he wants to duck and dodge and skirt the opportunity to talk about it. That's what Cleveland does, fans. And we're gonna catch him. We're gonna catch him up in this show, so be ready for that. But so Lenny Wilkins, you never heard of Lenny Wilkins?
I have heard of Lenny Wilkins, a
coach.
Hall of Famer as a player and a Hall of Famer as a coach. Very rare to accomplish that feat. So yeah, he's one of the staples of the 206 for sure. I've heard of him.
Okay, and is Johnny U better than Joe Montana, number 19 in KC?
Oh come on, man, Joe Montana wore 16 for all of his great years. I don't think he won a playoff game wearing number 19. Cut that out.
I think he did win a playoff game.
A playoff game? Oh, okay. So no Super Bowls. No Super Bowl game. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No. Okay. What about the number 39? Now this was a little tougher. I mean, I came up with them fairly quickly, but this is took a little more thinking. What do you think about the number 39? Outside of Larry Zonka, probably one of the the famed running back for the undefeated Miami Dolphins.
So you're not gonna let me speak. You're just gonna speak for me. Is that what you're doing?
Well, I
thought you were asking a question and then you answered the question. Is that what's going on here?
So what do you got? Who do you got?
Okay, so the first person to come to mind is Steven Jackson. I mean, just one of the great running backs of in Rams history. But the first person that comes to mind is Hall of Fame running back from the Miami Dolphins.
You make sure you're straight. The undefeated Miami Dolphins. Get it right. Undefeated Miami Dolphins.
And the player that I'm speaking of did actually play on an undefeated team. The last undefeated season in the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah. The Miami Dolphins. Make sure you clarify that for the fans. We're not talking about high school. We're not talking about college.
It's clarified.
We're talking about the NFL.
It's clarified. No, we're good. Okay.
All right, Steven Jackson. Was Steven Jackson better than LeGarrette Blount?
Oh, for sure.
I don't know, man. You got one postseason to run with a number of running back. Are you going with Steven Jackson? Or are you going with LeGarrette Blount?
Steven Jackson.
Oh, I don't know, man. I might have to call up Mr. Oregon State and bring all that ferocity and fight and violence with you, because nobody. What Deion say? Nobody want to hit that blunt. Nobody want to hit that, man. So I don't know. I don't know. Nobody was shying away from Steven Jackson like they were LeGarrette Blount. There was a reason for that.
Really?
Were they? Were they?
Yeah. Yeah, Steven Jackson will run your ass over.
I didn't say he wouldn't. There wasn't Cash Shiner. I guess that goes with the league. Has kind of how the league has kind of changed and shifted a little bit, right? Because I can see Steven Jackson they were piling up on him. They weren't piling up on LeGarrette Blount. That might have something to do with the times they played in, right? But Cleveland, man, it's the NBA. It's the NBA season, man. The NBA is playoffs is kind of getting us warmed up. This playing tournament is just kind of this is the appetizer, right? This is some chicken wings.
No, this is no appetizer, Cam. This is a real thing. This is a real deal. This is serious.
Man, we jumped right in. How do you feel about the play-in tournament now that you've seen kind of most of these games? At least half of the games kind of been played. We got a couple more games tomorrow to determine the number 8 seed. But how do you feel about the play-in tournament as of this moment?
I absolutely love it, Cam. It did everything that the league was hoping that it was going to do. It stopped teams from tanking. It made the last week or two of the season extremely exciting and suspenseful. Teams had to really earn their spot, and if they didn't, they had themselves in a situation, in a position where they had to play other really hungry teams to see how the seedings would actually ultimately unfold. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it.
So we saw yesterday Tatum go off on the Wizards, go off for 50 yesterday. Now, Tatum has that game. He's one of the smoothest players I think in the game right now. Then we saw the Pacers rout the Hornets. Like did the Hornets even show up, man? Did they do 1-2-3 Cancun on us? Did
No,
they
they
have,
did. They did show up, and they realized very quickly that whoa, they were in an environment that they were completely uncomfortable with and unused to, and it just wasn't something they were ready for. And hey, man, yeah, chalk it up to a learning experience. They now understand what kind of the playoffs feels like, and they were not prepared.
man? Yeah, that was Joe Borrego, man. You gotta get your guys together, man. You supposed to have these guys ready. You got the rookie of the year. You got some good talent on that side of the ball. You supposed to have those guys more ready than when we saw out of them guys yesterday. The Spurs and the Grizzlies, that went down to a nail biter, went down to the final minutes of the game, and the Grizzlies pulled that one out. What's your thoughts on the Grizzlies moving on? Or
You know,
not moving on. They do move. They play tomorrow for the AC, right? They play the loser. This looks like they might be playing the Lakers. The way it's looking right now.
it's quite possible. The basketball fantasy gods. They have their way of doing things, and the universe will unfold as it will. And if the Lakers have to end up playing the Grizzlies, so be it. Kudos to the Grizzlies for beating a veteran and very well seasoned San Antonio Spurs team with a lot more playoff experience than the Memphis Grizzlies. I am, I don't want to say pleasantly surprised, but I am somewhat surprised that they were able to pull this off, even in a one game setting. I certainly thought that the San Antonio Spurs had advantages at pretty much every position, other than Ja Morant versus DeJounte Murray. No disrespect to the 206, but other than that, I thought that the Spurs had the better team, better coaching, better experience, and at the end of the day, they just weren't able to pull it out.
I'll tell you what, man. After seeing the Memphis Grizzlies play in the summer league a couple seasons ago, when Ja Morant was a rookie, though he did not play with that, he didn't play as a rookie. He was there every day. Um, Jaren Jackson, he played a couple games, but he was there every day. And I asked Jaren Jackson, I'm like, Jaren, like, I think it was his second or third year. I think it was his second year in the league. Like, dude, you don't have to be here. You don't have to be in Vegas hanging around the rookie team. You don't have to be with the JV team today. You could be on Cancun. You can be in Hawaii. You can be in the Bahamas. You could be anywhere you want to be. Why are you here? Man, this is my squad. I'm a part of this team. My team has a game. Although I'm not playing, I want to be there to support them, man. I thought that said so much of the camaraderie they were building there. And talking to Taylor Jenkins, the head coach, he had just taken over an accounting major, by the way. Had just, after he graduated with his accounting degree, master's, I think it is, he got approached to be an NBA coach because his basketball career was over. He wasn't going to play anymore. He got approached to being a coach, and a few years later, he was named the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies. So it was his first year as a coach. And what he told me was he wants to build a family atmosphere. And he wants everybody to buy in like your family does. So it was a great opportunity. I thought it was a great showing. And talking to Taylor Jenkins, talking to the players that were there and how they bought in. And they have a couple role players that really know their role. Mr. Slow-Mo, UCLA, Anderson, having a brain fart of his first name, but Anderson, the point guard, he left San Antonio, oddly enough. He was a cast off of San Antonio and found a role behind Ja Morant as, you have Ja Morant, the speed, quick, athletic guy, and you got him coming in who's just a basketball player. He's not gonna do anything to wow you. but he's going to bring the ball up the court, get in the right position, make the right play, make the right pass, and then go down court after they score 2 points. And then Brandon Clark, man, I like Brandon Clark. And you know where Brandon Clark went to school? Do you remember him?
He went to Gonzaga, Cam.
Gonzaga. Brandon Clark was, I think, if one of 5 players in college. I want to say, you fact check me if you want, fans, but in college he was one of 5 players in the NCAA tournament to average 5 players ever to do this. Average 20 points and 10 rebounds in a game, or excuse me, in the tournament. That means he gets to the rim, and a lot of it was just high flying, getting the rebounds and putting back was how he got a lot of his points. Lob dunks is how he got a lot of the points, and he still does that to this day. So the real key of just kind of glue guys that know their role, and then guys you need on your team to win. And as they developed, I think they're going to be even better than Memphis Grizzlies. So that's my shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they're a good squad. Although Jaren Jackson was hurt a large part of the season, I still haven't seen him quite develop as I anticipate him developing. And I want to see more out of him, Jaren Jackson. And then John Moran obviously is a supreme talent. So that's my shout out to Memphis Grizzlies. Congratulations for them to win it today. And my question for you, obviously we're doing the show. It's halftime of this Warriors-Lakers game, but how much do you think the Warriors are going to beat the Lakers by tonight?
Oh, Cam, that's up to the basketball gods to determine that. This play-in tournament is what it is. The universe will unfold as it will. I am still, optimistic that the Los Angeles Lakers can win this game and, end up with the number 7 seed. If they don't, then it sounds like they will have to play the Memphis Grizzlies to, cement themselves in the playoffs and, again, climb that mountain, taking on the number 1 seed, the best team in the, in the NBA record-wise, the Utah Jazz. So, we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, what's the score right now, Cam? Let's let the fans know as we're doing the show what seems to be the temperature.
As we're doing the show, I think they're just coming out of the halftime break, and it's a 11-point lead for the Golden State Warriors.
That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good at all.
I mean, it's only halftime. I mean, there's still 24 minutes to play. But fans, I'm gonna be honest with you, Cleveland. Cleveland don't want to answer the question. He don't want to answer it. But I see some aging going on with number 23 in the purple and gold. I see some aging, like a couple plays, and when I turn on the game. So yeah, well, excuse me. What did I say? 11-point game. It's a 13-point lead for the Clippers or for the Golden State Warriors. They just had a turnover, but they just came out of the halftime. But I see some aging going on. Look, Juan Toscano Anderson took it right up and over LeBron. It was like LeBron went up for the block, but Toscano went up a little higher. You just don't see that very often. And so there have been a couple plays, and we all know AD is a Batman. So if LeBron ain't doing it, it's not very likely that AD is gonna make it happen. So there might be some issues here, and right now the Lakers have Schroeder, LeBron, both ADs, Anthony Davis and then Andre Drummond in the game. So they're trying to go big on the Warriors, who don't really have a big man. And they also have Contavious Caldwell-Pope out there to chase Curry around. So the Lakers look like they moved your chips all the way to the middle in there, and let's go big. So we'll see if this works for Frank Vogel. We'll see how this works for these guys and what they got going on. We'll keep you informed. Cleveland. Now come on, it's been weeks that I said the Clippers and the Nets are going to meet in the finals. I said this for not weeks. I said this for months, right? Back as far back as March, I said the Clippers and the Nets are going to meet for the NBA finals, with the Nets winning this matchup. That's what I said. But considering the machinations that the Clippers went through last week, rushing their players, losing to Houston and then Oklahoma City, like you had to work to lose to both of those teams on back-to-back nights. It wasn't back-to-back nights and back-to-back games, actually consecutive games. You had to work, and they lost to them both. I still have them confident. I'm still confident in being the best team in the West, but that kind of took a chunk of my confidence out. Let me put it that way. What is your confidence in Ty Lue and the Clippers after you saw them lose to Oklahoma City and Houston in consecutive nights? And do you think they were tanking? What's your thoughts on that scenario?
Oh, they absolutely were tanking, Cam. It's no secret. It's been broadcast all over the internet and social media. It was strategery on their part. They were trying to avoid the Los Angeles Lakers, who they assumed were going to win the play-in game, and so therefore they wanted to avoid them at all costs. They didn't want the battle of Los Angeles to be, the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. So yeah, they made sure that they were not going to be around to partake in that skirmish.
Why would you not want to play the team with two guys who's coming off of injuries? Why would you not want to play the team with two guys who are coming off of injury, trying to get their bearings? Why would you? If anything, I would want to see them in the first round versus seeing them in the conference finals, because to get to the conference finals, they're clearly rolling by that time. Why would you not want to see them now?
No, because they didn't want to face the defending NBA champions, and they didn't want to lose all of their credibility in the city in the first round. They understood what was at stake, and they just simply wanted to avoid that at all costs.
all of their credibility in the first round.
Credibility, first round. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so Ty had a message for you. Did you hear what Ty had to say when Ty was?
I sure did.
He had a barrage.
It was a lot of jibber jabber. A lot of, we're not feeling the pressure, and we're not listening to the outside noise. It's all about what happens in this locker room. It's all about us, and all we got is us, and that's cool, but that's not what's up, man. That's just avoiding the subject. That's avoiding the 800-pound elephant that's in the room, and it's kind of sad.
It's kind of sad.
Kind of sad.
What are you talking about?
Because it just means that you're not willing to embrace what's really going on out here, and you're trying to fabricate that it's something other than it is. Every year for Ballmer is championship or bust. You know that going in, so don't act like it's not a big deal. And you're not feeling any pressure, and that's not the ultimate goal. And if you don't succeed, that the season will be a failure.
I don't think he ever said it wasn't.
All that. He said all that by saying there is no pressure. We're just going to do what we're going to do. We're going to go out there. We're just going to play for each other. We're just going to play every possession, and we're just going to see what happens in the end. And if we win, I hope we win now. Nope.
He clearly stated, pressure is something else. Pressure is, and he clarified it today. Pressure is when you can't feed your kids. You don't know where your next meal.
Oh man, see, and then he went to all that, man. He tried to make it all like humanitarian. We're not talking about that, man. We're talking about the Western Conference of the playoffs.
That's pressure. When you play a game, when you play in a game that you love, you just go out there and play. There's no pressure in that. You just go play the game you love. Let the chip fall where it may.
That's that Michael Jordan attitude. Is that how you felt about it too?
What? Yeah, we're just playing the game we love. That's
just playing the game we love. I mean, just like we grew up playing as kids. I mean, and now we're getting paid to do it. Oh my God, what a bonus! I mean, whatever happens is just gravy on top, right? It's just cherry on top of the sundae.
Exactly.
Sounds like losers. Sounds like losers to me.
Listen
Sounds like losers.
Listen to Cleveland. That's what Cleveland
losers
says.
talk.
Oh, really?
They certainly don't talk when it comes to getting down in the Western Conference of the NBA. No, not if you want to win a championship. You can't just be happy to be here, and you can't just be like, whatever happens, happens. No, man. You might as well go home now.
Well, we're talking about somebody who might be going home now. Now they're doing all the I Promise School and kind of what has LeBron done for the community and all that. They're going through all that right now in on ESPN. So Cleveland, come on, get out of here, man. You can't be serious. You can't be serious in what you're saying.
I'm 100% serious, and as I've kind of done a little bit more analysis of the teams in the Western Conference, I now understand what the Los Angeles Clippers' fatal flaw is. Would you like to hear it, Cam?
Oh, we're all ears. We're all ears. Ty Lue I might send this tape to Ty Lue. What are the issues?
I don't know if you're ready for this, but I'm gonna hit you with it anyway, Cam. Paul George is the modern day Chris Webber.
Modern day Chris Webber. Chris Webber just went to the Hall of Fame.
Sure did. Mm-hmm.
Now,
and Paul George may very well go to the Hall of Fame as well. He may very well have a storied career with a lot of statistics.
Back up. Explain your analysis here. When you call him Chris Webber, as Chris Webber's, the best team he played on was Sacramento Kings, right?
That's true, yes.
Right? So, a couple of things. If the league didn't come up with this all of a sudden in 2000, was it 2003, 2004, all of a sudden, because Sacramento King does have the best team in the league, they're gonna a week before the playoffs, they're gonna say, "Oh, these playoffs in this year, because the Lakers are coming up short, we're gonna make this a 4 games, the best out of 7 in the first round, and not the best out of 5, how it's been for for previous decades, knowing that was going to be a matchup. Was it a 1-8 or something like that? That Sacramento, now they're just going to make the road tougher for Sacramento Kings. Do you recall that, or you don't recall it like that?
I mean, not really, Cam. That's what it came down to, and that has nothing to do with my statement. My statement was Paul George.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to your statement. I heard what you said. And we need to break that down, and the fans need to understand what you're talking about. But to understand who Chris Webber was and what his career ended up being, there's a couple things we have to discuss. And one of those is how the league changed the rules of the playoffs because Chris Webber had the best team in the league at the time, and the Lakers, with Shaq and Kobe, they weren't as good as expected or playing as well as expected, and they were looking at being ousted in the first round had it just been a 3-game, the best out of 3 or best out of 5, excuse me. So the league changed the rules, and now you're gonna act like you don't remember that. So that's one thing. And then, not to mention, in that same season, the Sacramento Kings had to deal with the cheating ref, who might have been getting paid from Kemp or Jerry Buss. The owner, he might have been getting paid from Jerry Buss and whomever else was formulating the bets. Oh, you don't see that like that either. You don't remember Jerry had his own rooms going on in the Staples Center, right? He had his own gambling tables in the Staples Center. You're gonna act like you don't know that. And so, who's paying the ref to cheat in the games that he was betting on?
Nobody was paying the ref to cheat.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh boy, so you don't know nothing about this. This is all foreign news to you. This is all foreign news.
Yeah, this is some fabricated nonsense on your part. I don't know why you're bringing it up, and I don't know what it had to do with the statement that I made. But
because
continue on.
Had it not been for these 2 incidents, Chris Webber may have very well been a champion. So you don't know nothing about the betting that Donaghy was doing. You don't know nothing about that. The Lakers had it was I think a 32-3 free throw ratio against the Sacramento Kings in the pivotal game 5. of the playoffs. It was a pivotal. You don't know. You don't remember anything about that.
Cam, I don't know the statistics with regards to what Tim Donaghy had wagered on that particular game and what his influence had on the outcome of the game. Yeah, no, it's foreign to me.
Well, Tim Donaghy isn't officiating the game today, and right now it's Golden State Warriors 60, Los Angeles Lakers 56, nearing the 8-minute mark in the third quarter.
Okay.
So here we go. The 3-pointer by Anthony Davis is off. Andre Drummond and LeBron just fight for the rebound. LeBron makes a pass to Anthony Davis. Oh, and they're going the other way. Anthony Davis was actually in the paint underneath the rim there right there on a play. He decided to pass it out, but he was surprisingly under the rim. So Chris Webber could have very well been a champion had those specific incidents not occurred. And so as we know, Paul George isn't a champion. I'm interested. You gotta go a little deeper when you say Paul George could be the modern day Chris Webber. What exactly are you referring to? Just not a championship or not a champion? Somebody who'll never get to the championship?
Well, the fans know what I'm talking about, Cam, but I'll be brief. Chris Webber is someone that had superstar ability, but never wanted to be a superstar. And when the bright lights came on, he shied away from the attention. He shied away from the opportunity to be great. I feel the same way about Paul George.
Oh, interesting. So the lights are going to be brightest starting this weekend.
Yes, they will.
And so you're saying there's no reason to expect anything from Mr. Paul George this weekend?
No, he'll be great in the first round. He'll be great in the second round if they get to the Western Conference Finals. I'm sorry, I'm getting way ahead of myself. Way ahead of myself. Excuse me, Luca. Excuse me, Luca. Excuse me, Donovan Mitchell. I've been way ahead of myself here. I'm just saying that given the opportunity, if Paul George is in a situation where he needs to be the guy, it will be sooner than later. As it gets a little bit further along in the playoffs, we'll see how far they progress. But yeah, you'll see less and less of him in big moments.
Wow, this is surprising. PG is like I'm writing this down on a sticky because there's some things that gotta go written down that the fans just have to hear. Or we have to circle back to, because when I pull these certain comments out that Cleveland has made, he's gonna act like he never said them before. And these are just some things that we have to go back, and we're gonna review this list later on the show today. But there's a couple of things Cleveland act like he just never said them, and he never heard them, and he don't know what I'm talking about, and he just acts dumbfounded. So this is one of the things that I'm adding to my sticky notes. That's all, sticky notes. So that's interesting that he says Paul George is more like Chris Webber. Okay. So what's your confidence in Ty Lue leading this Clipper team to, Ty Lue confidently says last year was last year. He said this today, in fact. Last year was last year. This year is a different story. It's a different team. It's a different story. They're different men. They've been through different experiences to make them who they are today. Then they didn't have these experiences last year. Last year, the team, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George specifically, were injured. So Paul George didn't join the team last year. Obviously, it was a regular season. The season started in November. Paul George didn't start the team until like mid-January, because he missed a bunch of games dealing with a shoulder issue. Kawhi Leonard was still, doing his load management thing because he legitimately had an injury. This year, Kawhi Leonard's playing the back-to-backs. This year, Paul George has had no injuries. So what's your confidence now in Ty Lue, since he is the difference between last year's team and this year's team? If you just want to say last year, the Clippers just don't have it. There were some changes. Ty Lue is there now. What do you see as the difference?
My confidence level is 10%, Cam.
10% out of 10, or you 10% out of 100?
Out of 100%, yeah, 10%.
And help me out. Why you have no confidence in what Ty Lue's doing? Is it less confidence in Ty Lue and what he's doing, or less confidence in the players executing his plan?
Less confidence in the players executing his plan and their chemistry all around. That's not a good fit over there, Cam. The pieces don't fit well together. They have no cohesiveness. They've never really played together. They don't really know what they have. And as things get a little bit more progressively difficult as the Western Conference playoffs continue, I just don't have any confidence in them.
You got me speechless over here. I don't know what you. I don't know. So you never heard of DeMarcus Cousins coming off the bench?
I have heard of him. He is a defector from the Los Angeles Lakers, a great player, illustrious career at the University of Kentucky. He did some things for Sacramento for a minute. Yeah, I know who that dude is, and he's been quite the contributor off the bench. I don't like the way he's been contributing, to be quite honest with you. It's been quite impressive. Yeah.
Okay.
And we all know that playoff Rondo is about to put on his his cold-blooded pounce passing suit and do some things out there. But hey, they are the Clippers. They are the Clippers at the end of the day, and they haven't done anything ever, and this season's not going to be any different.
So you're going off of history then. Now it sounds like history.
Not just history.
You're going off of.
In addition to history, Cam, it's the chemistry. Kawhi and Paul are not who they thought they were going to be when Kawhi mandated that they put this dynamic duo together. You know what I'm saying? And he is the Robin to Kawhi's Batman. But so what, man? It hasn't worked out.
What do you mean it hasn't worked out? Last year they were number 2 in the West. This year they
were up 3 games to 1 to the Denver Nuggets, and Jamal Murray and Joker came in there and took their hearts out. They almost had their hearts taken out by Luka Doncic, who didn't have his right-hand man stops Porzingis last year. Now he's got stops Porzingis is back healthy. Plus he's got a J.J. Redick, a sharpshooter from the outside. I mean, they weren't scared of him last time, and now Luka has all that playoff experience. I don't know.
Are you going with Dallas in this series? Are you taking Dallas? Do we have? Is this a wager? Do we have a wager on the table?
That's a pretty flimsy limb out there, Cam. So I'm not going to go out there on a limb like that and say Dallas is going to win this series.
You just want to excuse yourself,
that
and
it will be interesting,
for Luka earlier,
and it will go at least 6 games. At least 6.
I don't know that's going 6. It's going to go. It might go 5. Dallas might get 1 in Dallas. They might get 1. But come on, man. You're giving to you earlier. We talking about Luka. You would give Luka no credit for his performance, his MVP candidacy midway through the season.
That was MVP candidacy, Cam. That has nothing to do with the Western Conference playoffs when you got to beat somebody 4 out of 7 games. And they already played those guys head up last year without stops Porzingis. Now you got the unicorn. The unicorn's healthy, so they say.
Yeah, exactly. So they say the unicorn has been on the trading block since January.
Okay, well, we're not talking about on the trading block. We're talking about none of that. We're talking about a series right now. They're going to roll the basketball out on the court, and we'll see what's up.
Come on, cut it out, man. Cut it out. So he has no confidence in Ty Lue. Okay. So what's your confidence? How confident are you in Doc Rivers? Now they won the East. They did with that. I mean, how they went from what were they 3 last year and to winning Eastern Conference. We see Doc Rivers still. I don't think anybody's going to be able to get Ben Simmons to shoot a jumper outside the paint. I don't think if Doc can't do it, I don't think anybody's going to be able to do that. But we got Joel Embiid playing down low, kind of dominating the paint, if you will. If he wasn't out as many games as he missed, he might have been in line for that MVP caliber championship or MVP title this season. But obviously he dealt with some injuries. So what do you see as how confident are you in Doc Rivers? And then I'll give you an update as soon as you give me that.
Confidence in Doc Rivers is 84.3% right now.
No, so a little higher.
74.3% higher. Yeah.
So right now we're midway through the third quarter. AD has Anthony Davis 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 block, 3 for 15 field goals percentage, or 3 for 15. And so that no reason to tell you the Golden State Warriors are up 72. AD just made a free throw, so it's 72-66. But we're 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. AD has 7 points. Again, if LeBron isn't putting a batter in his back, he's not going to do it. Wow, that's kind of surprising. And Curry gets left loose for another lay-in. So a little bit more confidence in Doc Rivers at 84%. Do you expect them to win the East? Because we got to make playoff predictions. We got to make playoff predictions right now. We're going to hold you to these predictions. We're going to say we can't do it for all the playing teams because they're not all there. But we got to make predictions. So let me get this ready. Do you have them winning the East?
Yes.
Oh, come on, get out of here. All right, so let's start with the East. So we don't know exactly who they're going to be playing, but we know their number one is going to be the 1-8 game. New York and Atlanta. Who do you have winning that game?
I like the way New York's been playing, but I think Trae Young is the best player on that court. Every time they walk out, every time they roll it out, I always take the talent. So I'll go with the Atlanta Hawks.
So New York is number 4, right?
Yes.
So you're going with the number. You're going with the Hawks over the Knicks. I'll take the Knicks in that. I'll take the Knicks in that one.
Okay.
I'll take the Knicks. What about number 3, number 6? Heat is playing Milwaukee. Heat is playing Milwaukee. Who do you got in this one?
I got the JBs. Got the Miami Heat.
Yeah, I think that one. The number 6 team, Milwaukee, is going to be stunned again.
Yes.
Man, it's hard to say it, but I think I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you there. And then the number 2 and the number 7. Who you got moving on?
Brooklyn.
Regardless who they're playing, Brooklyn moving on.
They're playing the Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics. Come on. Yeah, they're not being it. They're not being it. The Celtics is the 7th seed. Yeah, they're not going to beat them guys. So who do you have moving on from that one? Oh, it's a 4-point game. The Lakers have worked their way back in the game. And guess who makes a play right here? Ooh, nice pass, LeBron. Nice, beautiful pass to Kuzma, kicking to the hoop. So the number 1 seed, who do you have? You have the Sixers moving on, beating whomever.
I have the Sixers. Yes, they will.
You have them winning the East, is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, they'll beat the Wizards or the Pacers.
Okay, so then that's going to give the Sixers versus Atlanta, or the Sixers versus the Knicks. And who do you have winning that one?
I have the Sixers beating the Hawks or the Knicks in the second round.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. So we both have number one Sixers moving on, and we both have Miami moving on. And who is going to be Miami and Brooklyn? Ooh, that's going to be a good one. Who you got winning that one?
I got the JBs, Cam.
No, you don't.
I got the JBs. I got the 305.
No, you don't.
And you know why I'm so convinced? You just sent me some information, a recording that even further solidifies that the JBs are going to beat those guys.
What you get?
You know, Cam, you sent me an excerpt of Kyrie Irving in his post-game interview.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
We'll get to that later. But yeah, you sent me some information that just kind of further solidified the fact that I think the JBs are going to get them in the second round.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know, Kyrie Irving is 50, 40, 90 this season, right?
That's fantastic. Those are impressive stats. I think Steve Nash had those one time too. His coach. It's probably the first time in NBA history coach player have gone 50, 40, 90 before.
This guy is on one for real.
Same.
And it's a 1-point game, 76-75 as the Lakers. AD catches a lob with right at 40 seconds to go. 1-point game in LA. And it's getting tight. It's getting tight. The sphincters are getting tight. And Curry goes up for a 3-pointer, and he nails a 3-pointer from deep as with 28 seconds to go to put him up by 4.
The Dragon, he can burn your house down if you let him.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how many points he has right now, but Curry, 26 points, 5 for 8 from deep. And it was just a textbook. Oh, LeBron. Oh, my goodness gracious. His passing is exquisite, man. His passing is.
The old man? Old man doing it?
His passing is just exquisite.
Is the old man shaking off a little bit of the rust in front of your eyes there?
Caruso passes it to LeBron, and it's a give and go. But LeBron underhand bounce pass, like it's
a thing of beauty. I'm sure it's basketball 101. I mean, just yeah.
Yeah, it's oh my goodness, it's just exquisite. I mean, I don't know, his feel for the game is just. I mean that's
uncanny.
Why he'll be able to play until he's like 40 because he just has a feel for the game that not many have
ever had in the history of basketball. Right. You're absolutely right.
Well, like I said, not many have. That's what I said.
Well, no, I'm saying it for you because not many have.
Yeah. All right, fans. So just trying to keep my man updated here on this team. So we just went through the East, and you have the 76ers beat over. You have hold on. So who do you have? The 76ers or Miami?
So let's go with this. I have the 76ers beating Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals. I have your Brooklyn Nets losing to the Miami Heat.
I have that.
In the second round. And I have the Philadelphia 76ers beating the Atlanta Hawks in the second
round. I have that. I'm just putting it down here because I know you'll change up your theory.
I will not. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that Miami Heat Brooklyn Nets series, second round. I'm extremely disappointed that the Boogie Monster, Russell Westbrook, wasn't able to sneak into that 7 and just start it off. Just kick in the door looking for KD and James Harden. The Terminator, you got to answer to me now. Now I'm right in front of your face. That's not going to happen now. That's so unfortunate that it didn't go down the way it was supposed to. But hey, man, Jason Tatum threw up 50. What can you do?
So we got Utah. Number 1 seed, who's going to play What the loser would that'll be determined tomorrow. So it could be the Lakers, it could be the Golden
Grizzlies.
State Warriors, it could be the Grizzlies.
Right. We don't. We yeah. That's a
We
little
could
too.
we
That's a little too early to
we
tell.
can't we can't make that pick right now.
No, we can't make that pick. Mm-mm.
Yeah, okay. So we got the number 4 Los Angeles Clippers playing
The
versus the
Dallas
Dallas
Mavericks, and I
Mavericks,
mean, it's
the number
yeah,
5.
it's going to be a tough. I see going 6 or 7.
Who do you have winning? That's what we're asking.
I'm going to go with the Clippers. I'm going to go with your Clippers on this one, Cam.
Are you?
I'm going with your
Okay.
Clippers. I mean,
Okay. I mean,
they really should be the Dallas Mavericks. I'm thinking
smart man.
it won't be as easy as you think, but you know,
Smart
young
man
Sam
right there.
Rothstein. When I put my young Sam Rothstein hat on, I feel like the Clippers will get that one.
Okay, and then we have the number 3 Nuggets versus the number 6 Trailblazers. Who do you have winning that one?
The Nuggets.
You're not even give that any thought.
No.
Jokic, you're not giving that no thought to what Dame can do.
No.
Interesting. Well, I agree with you there. They should win that fairly handily. And so the number to play in is too early to say. The number 2 Suns versus whomever they play. It depends on who they play, right?
Depends on who they play, Cam. I mean, they have a very successful season, and they've proven to be formidable.
It can go up in flames really quickly depending on who they play. All right, fans. So we're gonna have to talk to you next week about right now. Cleveland has 76ers over the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. I got Brooklyn. I said this for months now. I got Brooklyn going all the way through the Eastern Conference. But once I did say before injuries took place that they might not lose a game, but they had some injuries. Kyrie went out. KD was out. Kyrie went out with PTO. KD went out with a thigh bruise, and we know Harden went out with a hamstring. So I can't really say right now that they're gonna. And the Lakers had their first lead of the game, or the first lead that I've seen, anyways. First lead tonight, the Lakers. Right now, 81-79 with just under 11 minutes to go in the fourth.
Okay, keep myself and the fans informed as we wind through this episode of Voice of the Fans.
Yeah, it's week 39, Voice of the Fans here doing our show, and I'm right across the street from Staples, and I hear feel the building rocking and hear the fans cheering as LeBron is looking to. He's dancing with the ball at the top of the key, going to the rim, and of course nobody can stop him when he goes to the rim. And so it's a 4-point
That old
lead.
ass man. Nobody can stop that old ass man.
Nobody can stop him.
You mean Toscano Anderson can't stop him?
Who they got on him?
Where's Toscano Anderson at?
This is Poole. Listen to him. That's Poole on him. Oh, that's offensive foul. He puts the elbow right in the man's stomach and just pushes the guy off. That's an offensive foul. I mean, come on.
On Toscano Anderson?
No, offensive on LeBron James.
Oh.
When you put the shoulder in the chest and then you put the elbow in the man's gut, well, he can't do anything. The man's 6'9", 270.
I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah,
physical mismatch.
Anyway, the Lakers are up 4, just to let you know. On the way, okay. Steve Kerr calls a timeout. So
appreciate
fans,
the update.
So we just went through our predictions for the NBA. For the NBA, as far as we can go. I'll tell you, I don't have any problems. We kind of, regardless of how things shake out, I got the Clippers over Dallas Mavericks. In the next round, the Clippers obviously are going to face whoever the number 8 seed is in Utah. I mean, depending on who that number 8 seed is, it could be a tough matchup. Utah will beat Golden State. If it's the Lakers, I don't think Utah beats Golden State. I mean, I don't think Utah beats the Lakers. And then that could set up for in the next round 2, that could set up a battle of LA. Ooh. I don't know. You guys are expecting that to happen so soon? That could set that up. And then,
Consider the way that you guys ducked us. No, not really.
hmm, and then, woof, that could be a good one. And then in the other bracket, there's going to be the Denver Nuggets. We both got them beating up PO Portland, and then we're going to be Phoenix in the number 7. Again, that could be the Lakers. That could be Phoenix doesn't beat the Lakers. Phoenix, Golden State. Man, that would be a good series to watch. That would be an enjoyable series. Can't really say who will win that one right now. I think Phoenix because they have more firepower. Chris Paul, Devin Booker. Well, shit, they don't have Aiton. So that would be a great series to watch, actually. Phoenix and Golden State. But we just don't know how that's going to shake out. Neither Utah or Phoenix will beat the Lakers in the playoff series, so we understand that. So, however this thing shakes out, this is a very key game here tonight. What's going on in Staples across the way? So we touched on it earlier. You said you heard the recording that doesn't allow you to have confidence in what Brooklyn's doing. Explain the recording you heard and explain why you don't have any confidence in what's going on with Brooklyn.
Cam, let me break this down for you, okay?
Fans want to hear it.
I'm old school, Cam.
Okay.
I'm old school. And what I mean by that is I would like my franchise players, my superstars to have an unhealthy focus and concentration on the game. I want that to be the only thing that they're thinking about is how to get better, how to beat their opponent, and how to win a championship. When you ask me, where is my franchise superstar player? Oh, he's over there at the gym, or he's over there in the film room. There's only one or two places he's going to be. It's the playoffs, and we're trying to win a championship.
So
I
let me get this
have
straight.
to
So let,
have
so let, so
that
let me get this
guy.
straight. So
No,
let me get this straight.
I'm not
Let
done.
me
No,
get
no,
this
you gotta
straight.
let me
Let
finish
me get
now.
this straight.
Kim, you gotta let me finish. That's got to be my guy, man. That's got to be who I'm riding with, who I am pushing all the chips in with, who I'm giving all the cheese to. He is all about the game.
LeBron with another foray to the rim. Now the Lakers go up 6 points. So Cleveland.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done, Cam.
Okay.
So when I hear Kyrie talking, I feel like I'm listening to.
Oh, now all of a sudden, now they're gonna give LeBron a charging call. Get the fuck out of here. Is Donnie he coaching?
You're getting unraveled. You're getting unraveled by the inevitable of
he
what's
was
going
moving. No,
on
hey,
in
so
the Western.
challenge that Kerr. Challenge that Kerr.
Getting unraveled. You're cutting me off mid sentence here, man.
Oh.
I'm in the middle of a soliloquy here. Are you listening?
Yeah, I hear you. Oh, I hear you 100%. But I'm about to blow this up here in a second.
So when I hear Kyrie,
yeah,
sounding like he's been in a corner somewhere, listening to the Marvin Gaye "What's Going On" album a few too many times. Oh, mercy, mercy me! What's going on in the world? Kids are starving. COVID's going crazy. There's racism and sexism and hatred, and I just don't know what I can do. I'm confused. I'm conflicted. My concentration is split and elsewhere. It's just not a good look for me because I'm old school, and that's not how I like my superstar franchise players. Of course, it is 2021, and perhaps it's just a different climate and different environment. And maybe when it's time to get out to the game, he can compartmentalize all that and put it aside and just concentrate on basketball. But bro, that seems like that's kind of a problem for him. And I don't need my superstar franchise player having problems discerning between what is most important right now on May the 19th. The world or the game. Unfortunately, if you have that unhealthy focus and attitude, it's the game. It's not the world. And I want to have the peace of mind that my superstar franchise player is going to show up for every game with his head right. And
are you done yet?
There being Cam show up for every game. I don't want to hear, oh man,
You got
those
a point there.
guys over in Detroit, man, had
You
a
got a point there.
strike.
You
And
got
they
a
hit
point there.
somebody in the head with a rock, and I can't play game 3. No.
That you got a point there. You got a point there. Are you finished yet?
I'm done. I'm gonna leave it there, Cam.
So is this the same guy? Is this the same guy who we just, what was it, a month, 6 weeks ago? 6 weeks ago, I'm telling you that a player who wants to sit out a season because they're focused on other things other than the game at hand, perfecting their craft. You're telling me no, that how can you have that philosophy? These guys are young guys, they need to pay attention to the world. So you're telling me there actually is a avenue for you to have your number one guys, number one draft pick, the player you're going to give millions of dollars to be 100% focused and committed to the game. You're telling me that now that's okay. But when I talk about the guy sitting out and I question his commitment to the game, you're telling me I'm off base. Do you remember that?
Yeah, because that's not an apples to apples comparison, Cam.
Why not?
You're talking about kids that are attending a university that don't have any of the same parameters in place. You're talking about them asking them to risk their health when there are no protocols in place. There are no protocols in place. They have no insurance if something goes wrong with them. So they have nothing to gain and everything to lose. The only thing they have to gain is the exposure of showing you that they're a really good player. But they've shown you enough you already know that they're not going to risk all of that just to show you some more.
I told you I need to have a conversation.
Because this is a
conversation with these guys. That's what I told you.
Franchise superstar, NBA Finals champion who's already played in the league. He already knows what's up. This is not the same thing. So no, I'm not going to give you that same, oh, he should get a pass because you gave those college kids a pass. No. Not at $40 million a year. Oh no.
So there
scholarship athlete adverse somebody literally making $40 million a year.
So there is room for you to have, for your players, your key franchise player, to have undying, unwavering commitment to the game, that he will play through a pandemic. He'll play through half his team not showing up. He's going to play through the commitment to the game. You know it's going to be there because he's displayed that already. There is room for that. That's what you're saying. Now all of a sudden you want Kyrie to have this unwavering commitment.
This is nothing like that. None of the aforementioned players that you named sat out because the world is a sad place and in turmoil. That was not their motivation. Their motivation was self-preservation and bettering their career. That's not what Kyrie Irving is doing.
So okay, interesting. So you make a good point when you say, I agree with you. You want them to have the unwavering commitment, but at the same time, I agree with you in that position. You know, again, as I would say, Kyrie was 50, 40, 90. That hasn't been done many times this year. And what we're talking about, what is 50% from the floor,
40% from 3-point range, 90% from the free throw line. That is extraordinary. He has the ball on a string. He can cross over. He can take anybody off the dribble. At the tip top of his game, Steph Curry is the only better point guard.
So, 4-point game coming on 8 minutes ago. The Warriors have 11 turnovers to the Lakers 2 turnovers here in the fourth quarter. That's been the difference. Or excuse me, in the second half. That's been the difference here in the second half. While the Lakers are up by 4. But Cleveland, you make a good point when you want your player to be 100% committed to the game. You don't want him sitting out because in Detroit, would you say in Detroit they're striking and somebody on the line got clubbed over the head with a billy club, and he has to go
in the face with a rock. Temporary blindness. Yeah.
You make a point there. However, does that show you that show you the range of Kyrie at all? Does that show you
No,
like
there's no range. Like that's what I'm saying. When it's playoff time, I don't want my players to have range. LeBron turns his phone off. He doesn't answer his phone.
well,
I don't want
I don't have to
I don't want you
let's
distracted by the outside world. I don't want you distracted by anything.
LeBron was just
I
hanging
want
out.
you focused on winning a championship, winning
LeBron was just
those
hanging out with
16 games.
LeBron was just hanging out with Drake on Monday night. I don't know if you saw that or not, but
Playoffs started today, right? Okay, let's check in.
yeah.
Was he worried about the homeless, or was he just hanging out with Drake?
Yeah, just hanging out with Drake. He wasn't even worried about the homeless.
So not water conservation or.
I listen to you. Listen to this guy. All right, so let's wrap up this segment, man. Let's get on to our next segment, NFL topics. I got your point. Point is taken. Let's take a little break here, Cleveland, and we're gonna come back, fans. We're gonna talk about what's up with Dan Campbell, man. With Dan Campbell and the Lions. Have you heard what this guy's trying to do out there in Detroit? We're going to get to it is what he wants to have at the training camp facilities, and then we're going to go through this way too soon power ranking in the NFL. Also, Urban Meyer up to his old tricks again, and then we're going to talk about who the Broncos decide to bring onto their into their front office. So let's take a break, and we're going to talk about these NFL topics. The 1 point game, 6.5 to go. 1 point game.
What Jimmy Johnson say once upon a time? My number one priority is football. My second priority is my sons.
Is what?
My sons.
Yeah. Well, I understand where you're coming from, but it's just funny how you flip the script when you're talking about the college players.
Not the script. It's funny how you try to put them both in the same box.
Because that's commitment. That shows if they're committed at that level coming out of college, they're going to be committed later in the game.
If Kyrie is doing this in game 21 of the season, it's like, okay, this is the playoffs, bro. And your mindset hasn't changed one little bit.
Yeah, we can only hope that he doesn't come with a PTO day in the next month.
Yeah, because the world has has a chance to get really unstable at any point, right?
You're right about that.
Something bad can happen anyway. Right?
Yeah, can't argue that one. Can't argue that one. All right, let's get back to this. Fans, thank you guys once again for tuning in to Voice of the Fans podcast. Getting a little on the air live communication here. I haven't figured out a way to give you guys the interlude yet, the little music symbolizing our break, but you get a little live commentary. Cleveland. Usually we do NFL first, but the NBA action is so hot right now. We got to do NBA first today. So our NFL topic for this week. Have you heard what Dan Campbell, head coach of the Detroit Lions, is up to this in Detroit? What he wants to, who he wants to have on the sidelines?
I have not. Enlighten me, Cam.
Dan Campbell said he wants a live lion at Lions training camp.
Oh.
He wants a live lion so the player can see and understand who they're playing for, what they're doing, and that'll get fired up. This is the same guy who said he wants the players to bite off kneecaps and when they fall down and get back up and bite off an elbow. This is that same guy. What's your thoughts on having a live lion at training
camp? He's taken the mascot thing a little bit too far. First things first, let's have a winning season, and next let's try to make the playoffs. But as far as having a caged king of the jungle on the sidelines, yeah, I'm not quite sure who that's helping to motivate, or what type of you know signal
Yeah,
he's trying to send with that. So yeah, no, not a good
I
idea.
I agree with you. Um, Urban Meyer. It kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. When the players they decide to sit out a year in COVID, that kind of questions their commitment, right? As you're doing with Kyrie, you're questioning his commitment. Well, the running back, Raquel Armstead, decided to sit out last year because of COVID, which was perfectly up within his rights, right? He had some challenges with COVID. He was in the hospital a couple times during the year due to COVID-19 complications. Urban Meyer says, "Okay, you're not suited for to be a Jaguar," and waived him. What's your thoughts on that?
Won't sit well with the team. He'll understand very quickly that those type of decisions, that when you do that to 18 and to 22-year-olds that are on scholarship, resonates a lot differently than grown men who understand the profession of the NFL and understand that there were certainly some health and safety precautions that this particular player was taking for himself, and to cut him without even giving him the opportunity to see what he's about, it's not going to sit well with the vets.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's kind of wild that uh, we haven't even got past minicamp. Now, if it comes down to comes down to players, big rebound for AD. Ooh, tie ball game. AD comes up with a big rebound and a putback with just over 5 minutes to go to give the Lakers a lead by 2 points. And here's Steph Curry swooping, swooping to the hoop, and he ties the game right back up. But yeah, I don't. If he does this, a few months later in training camp, you kind of that's the cover for the move. But to do it right now, I mean, to do it right now this early in the season when the guys just kind of getting healthy, if you will, it's a bad taste. I think it's a bad taste, and it's looking like Urban Meyer is going to have a lot of adjusting to do to coaching in the NBA. Looks like he's going to have a lot of adjustments to make. And, it's sad to say there. The Broncos bring in a new executive director of football operations, Kelly Klein, former Minnesota Vikings coach, female executive. She's the only now executive director of football operations in the NFL. So a good move for the females. What's your thoughts on the Broncos being progressive?
Congratulations to her. I'm not quite sure of her complete total background, but I have confidence that the Broncos made a decision based upon her ability, given the fact that she's the first to do it. Kind of speaks volumes for her credibility and her intellect and her ability. So
Yeah, I think
congratulations to her.
she has experience in the game, so I think it was they wouldn't have brought her in if she didn't have that quality experience. And kudos to the Broncos, for being progressive. Good job out of them. Cleveland, as I mentioned earlier, the NFL mini camps have taken place over the weekend. In fact, I was fortunate enough to be down there with the Chargers, and I have to say, man, I like Brandon Staley, head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. I kind of like his communication piece. I kind of like that he's passionate about football. He told a story earlier in the year that he used to read the newspaper and drink coffee like his dad, who was a high school football coach, because he wanted to be a football coach. And this goes way back with him. We know he coached the Rams up to be the number one defense in the league last season, and he says this is his dream job. So um, the Warriors take a 3-point lead on a Stephen Curry 3-pointer with three minutes to go. Just kind of dancing on him. Dances on him. Anyhow, I like Brandon Staley, man. Brandon Staley. I'm gonna give you a quote later. Something that I took away from the training camp, but his communication piece. He's passionate. He seems to have things dialed in. Obviously, this is training camp. Well, this is the first time we got a chance to speak with him was like early January when he first got the job. Asked him a few questions and kind of in an introduction process. Um, so we really haven't seen anything other than we haven't seen scheme. We haven't seen it materialize on the field, right? It's been talking about the draft picks that they've had, why they're looking at certain players, what they want out of certain players. Um, I'm anxious to see kind of how that formulates into on-field action. Wins, obviously, wins and losses. But right now, I like Brandon Staley. I like the direction the team is going into. I have to say that. You have any questions kind of about the Chargers and what you see about the process of the mini camps? Or again, talking to the GM, one thing I found out in talking to GM Tom Telesco was they let Hunter Henry go. Hunter Henry signed with the Patriots for, I think it was, don't quote me on this, but it's somewhere around 3 years, $36 million. Now, all of my experience with Hunter Henry is just a great locker room guy. We heard time and time again last season when they go they're 3-9, and you ask the quarterback kind of. Personally asked the quarterback, like, who was in the locker room is kind of keeping you up? Who's cracking the jokes? Who's keeping things loose in the room? And he did not hesitate. Alex Caruso goes off the side of the backboard trying to shoot a 3-pointer. And the name frequently came up, Hunter Henry. I've asked him, Hunter Henry. Asked him whose job is it to kind of keep the guys invigorated, motivated as they're going through, close loss after close loss. And he actually said, that's my job. I want to keep the room light. I want to keep the guys in good spirits. So knowing that he's a team guy, locker room guy, I would think you can't kind of keep your quarterback happy. Give him a few extra dollars to kind of keep him in the locker room. And what he says is Tom Telesco. He's like, well, I had X amount of dollars slotted for that position, and not that I don't like Hunter Henry, but he deserved more than that slot. And so because of that, it just didn't fit in where we slotted him. We had to let him go. And if you've heard me over the last 10 years talk about what I like in teams and players, or in teams, how coaches and GMs put teams together, I'm a big fan of continuity. And I flat out asked him, like, where does continuity play into this? How important is continuity to you? He said, no, it's not really. He kind of, the way he responded, it made me feel like it was kind of might have been a silly question, but I'm thinking continuity is huge. And he's like, continuity is not important. We have all season kind of build chemistry, build camaraderie. Um, so losing one guy or replacing him with another guy, it's not really important. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, Cam, I mean, you said a mouthful right there. You absolutely laid out the blueprint for why the Los Angeles Chargers are losers and why they're going to continue to be losers. You just told me that a great locker room guy and someone that was very productive on the field was only worth the amount of money that they had slotted for that position, no matter who was playing the position, right? That's basically what you just told me. And if you're running your team and making personnel decisions like that, you're going to fail. And if you're telling me that camaraderie and cohesiveness within a football team isn't important, I mean, how long have you been doing this? It's infinitely important that you keep the locker room together and that they get along and that they all fight and play for one another. If you just don't care what that is and you're just plugging and playing all the time, then that's what you're going to end up with. That team with that philosophy will never win.
Again, it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out. Um, and see, because again, I've always been a believer, and I'll pay an extra guy. I'll pay a guy a few extra dollars. If I had him slotted for $5 million, and he comes in here and makes us think about it, okay, because he's been a producer, because he's been a good locker room guy, okay, we can make that six. Can we squeeze 6.5 out of it? If is it there to squeeze 6.5 out of there? Okay, let's get it to him because he's been that good of a guy for us. I that's how I would move. But again, I'm not a GM. That might be a more emotional play, and he's making business. He's making transactional plays. I'll tell you another thing. I asked him about. I asked the head coach this as well. Um, and again, this really has no. This is why I'm so interested to see how things play out, wins or losses. But I asked the coach on draft day, is it do you have more fun? Is it more gratifying to you that you're actually changing these players' lives when you call their name and you call them on the phone? Like these are life-changing moments. Or is it the coaching up of the players and you see the player develop over years? What is more gratifying to you? And then the coach is very wordy. He says, it's a development piece because when they call them and they change their lives, that's an instant, that's a moment right there. But when you develop them over time and they produce over time, like that's saying, okay, now we go from here, we're making progress, we're taking steps to get better. So I can understand that. I have to say, I asked Tom Telesco the same thing. No, not for me. I asked Tom Telesco the same question, same exact question. Are How much does it register that you're changing the guy's lives? And he's like, it doesn't register at all. We do this so often. There's so many players that are coming through our door that's more of a transactional piece. And it's I may be saying more than because he does speak in confidence, but uh, he doesn't consider that at all because it's just more of a transaction, and he got to make a decision to keep moving. So I found that pretty peculiar. And again, um, I may be speaking on again. I'm not in that position of being a GM. I'm just talking to him and trying to get his feedback of how they feel. What are your thoughts there?
I think that given his position, it's important to not let your emotions get carried away with you and not necessarily um, have that be a motivation with regards to the decisions that you're going to make. It sounds like the humanistic approach is not really what this GM is all about. And I think that plays an important part in it. But to the coach's point, I think that the development of the players adverse the instant gratification of being drafted is probably infinitely more important. But to say that it has no importance is a little cold.
Yeah, and I understand where the coach is coming from. I mean, that's because you ultimately want to win games, right? And so just to say that, okay, we drafted him, we changed his life, and harp on that, you do have to move on. So I understand that piece. But it was just as a humanistic approach, like you are changing these kids' lives. How important is that to you? I think they want to take times to kind of get to know each other. You could tell them downtown LA with a bunch of Lakers fans. Um, but to have that approach is I understand where you got to kind of maintain your focus. So right now it's a tied ball game, a minute and a half to go. I think they're looking at a feed just a little. Their feed is a little ahead of mine, but it's right now the Lakers. It's a minute to go in the game. LeBron dancing. LeBron is at the top of the key, looking to make something happen. Who is this? Caldwell Pope down low inside the paint. Should be three. Should be three in the key. LeBron throws up a three and it goes in. LeBron. LeBron. Oh, there's Drake on the sideline. There's Drake. Your boy Drake on the sideline right there. So yeah, LeBron threw up a prayer right there with 30 with little time on the clock to go, and your Steph Curry is trying to draw a foul on shooting a 3 point shot. Oh, they missed it. LeBron gets a rebound. 30 seconds to go. Lakers up three. Golden State got a foul. Golden State got a foul. 24, 23, 22, 21. The Golden State got a foul. They're not fouling. LeBron drives to the rim. Oh man, he lost the ball. And who was this? Golden State has the ball with 9 seconds to go. They're gonna call a timeout. No, Curry. Oh, they foul. Lakers foul. Lakers foul with 2 seconds on the clock. So if anything, so it looks like I thought the Lakers fouled, but they call a timeout. So maybe is it over? No, it's sorry, fans, Cleveland. I'm gonna give you guys a rundown.
No, that's
Two
okay.
2.1 seconds to go on the clock. Lakers up three. It looks like Golden State called a timeout. 2 seconds on the clock. 2.1 on the clock. Looked like Golden State called a. But this was some luck shit right here. Caldwell Pope is one, two, three steps. He kicks it out with no time on the clock. LeBron drains a three from
Cam,
3 feet.
you were counting too fast. It's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. You were
That should have been.
you were counting too fast.
Caldwell Pope kicks it out to the LeBron. 3 seconds behind the 3 feet behind the 3 point arc, and he makes it, and he drains a three, all net. Um, wow, and it looks like it's over now. Yeah, it's over. Golden State with 2 seconds on clock doesn't do much. Looks like I didn't see what happened, but just looking at the clock from afar, Lakers did win the game. Golden State doesn't hit the 3 pointer to tie it up, but yeah, so it's about to get rowdy here.
Oh wow! So the Los Angeles Lakers did end up winning that playing game, and will be the number 7 seed playing the Phoenix Suns. Is that what
Here
you're
we
saying?
go. Here we go. 2 seconds on the clock. They kick it into Curry. Looks like Curry got fouled. Come on, look like Curry got fouled. Touches the ball. No, he didn't catch the ball. Looked like AD grabbed his arm or something. He looked like AD fouled him. That's what it looked like. Um, yeah, Lakers going to win. No time on the clock. Game over. 103-100. Lakers move
Wow,
on.
what a hard fought game. That sure was exciting, Ken. I mean, that's everything that you wanted the play in to be, right? I mean, you had two former MVPs going at it at the tip top of their game with so much on the line to play for. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what more could the NBA ask for?
Cut it out.
And as it all, as the Western Conference tends to,
recalibrate
itself, the forces within the universe, they make it so. I mean, we got the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns going at it. We got Golden State and Memphis to see who will play Utah.
Yeah, so Lakers sneak by one. Woo! They snuck by one.
I know, sneaking by, winning their last 6 games in a row. I know it.
All right, Cleveland. So let's look at this Bleacher Report. So you take your pick. What you want to look at? I got them. I got links to them both, so we can take a look at them. You want to look at the Bleacher Report power ranking or the Pro Football PFF quarterback ranking? I say we look at
let's look at the Bleacher Report power ranking, because that is completely subjective. There's really not a whole lot of analysis that goes into that. That's just your opinion. So let's go with that one.
So we're not going to go through all 32 teams. We're not going.
Yeah, we'll go to top 10. Five at best.
Well, let's start from 10 and just go 10 backwards. How about that?
Let's do that. I'm good with that.
Number 10, number 10 team in the Bleacher Report power ranking is the Miami Dolphins.
Mm.
South Florida, they they cite picking up Jalen Waddle as obviously being a big pickup, but
Huge.
they got Waddle, Will Fuller, and Devontae Parker as a trio receivers. Like there's one guy in it. There's only really one guy in that trio that I like, and that's the rookie. Fuller, we know is going to get hurt, right? Devontae Parker has spent a career proving how inconsistent he is. So, and then our quarterback is throwing to him. I have no confidence in this guy. So
Mm.
it's
Cameron, you waffle back and forth on the Tua bandwagon more than anybody I've ever heard, man.
no, Cleveland.
You need to draw the line in the sand, Playboy. Are you on the Tua side or are you not on the Tua side? And here's the difference. If you're not on the Tua side, then you ain't on the 305 Dolphin Nation side. Okay?
I've been a Dolphin long
I'm not
before
going to put
Tua
you on the
showed up.
spot to answer the question right this
I've been a
very
Dolphin
second,
fan
but
long
that's going
before
to have
Tua
to be
showed up.
established, my man. You can't be both.
I've been a Dolphin fan long before Tua showed up.
No, man.
I
That's
didn't want
not
him
what
to
I'm
get.
saying. That's
I
not
didn't
what
want
I'm
him to get
saying.
drafted.
This is not about your Dan Marino fandom. This is about your Miami Dolphins. Are they legit? Are you with him or not? If you're not with him, man.
Listen. If we were now, we heard some. I don't know if you saw the video. We see Deshaun Watson still working out. We don't know what's happening. Is he
Bro,
still on his? If he's still on the exempt list,
you're not on the Dolphin bandwagon.
hey, there's some things out there that could happen, and whether it's Deshaun Watson, Aaron
Aaron Rodgers
Rodgers,
is not coming to town. Deshaun Watson is not coming to town. It's going to be the Tua Tagovailoa show. Either you're on board or you're not.
well, we don't have a running back.
Got two.
I'm
Miles
surprised.
Johnson and Salvon Ahmed.
Listen to you. I'm surprised that they have him number 10 on the list. So let's keep going through this list. They have him number 10. The number 9 team is the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh.
Number 9 team. Number 9 team. And obviously they got Russell, who hasn't missed a game. So you talking about a team dealing with quarterback issues. You don't know anything about that. You completely put that out of your mind because you went through a decade of no quarterback issues. So you need to cut that out. Your opinion on a team with quarterback issues, I can't listen to it. You have no idea what you're talking about. Kerry Hyder, defensive front. Alton Smith, you guys are expecting things out of him. Who's going to replace your number one cornerback, Shaquille Griffin? Who's there to replace him? Who's there to replace him? What are you doing on the offensive line? What are you doing on the offensive line?
We're in the process. We're in the process of putting the offensive line back together. We've drafted very well across the offensive line, and our undrafted free agents, they're massive, and we're talking to Juwan James and his people as well. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, get Mr. Gas Mask.
No, not Tunsil, not your guy.
Juwan James. no, we had Juwan James was in Miami for a few years. He couldn't make the cut. So that was number 19. Number 18 is the Los Angeles Rams. What do you think about them? Your division foe there, number 18.
Way high. Not quite sure where that's all coming from.
Because they Matthew Stafford is the reason that he's up there, and what he can bring to the table. What's your thoughts on and Matthew Stafford? How much do you think that changes the team?
A win or two.
A win or two?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's it.
Interesting. And Matthew Stafford is only equals a win. So do they have who wins the division? It's the Rams.
Seattle Seahawks.
Wow. You have the Seahawks winning the division. Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, Matthew Stafford, as we know, changes that thing. They got a little running game. They say they have the top 3 offensive line in the game. Ooh, ooh, we'll see that. I don't know about that one. But then obviously, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey is the game changers, right? Number 7 team on the Bleacher Report power rankings is Ryan Tannehill and your Tennessee Titans.
Mm.
This might be high. This might be really high.
So
But
they're predicting that this will be the 3rd consecutive season that Ryan Tannehill takes the Tennessee Titans to the playoffs, and the Miami Dolphins have not made the playoffs since he left.
Ain't
It's
that
interesting.
something? Yeah, that's interesting. But they drafted a cornerback. They took cornerback out of Virginia Tech. They got Corey Davis now. They lost Corey Davis, but they got Louisville's Des Fitzpatrick to take his place. So we'll see. Ryan Fitzpatrick has challenges with them, but they got Bud Dupree out of Pittsburgh. Who, wow, they
did do that.
They needed somebody in that position. So, wow. Number 6 on this power ranking for Bleacher Report is Baltimore Ravens.
Mm.
What do you think about that? Baltimore Ravens.
It's about right. It's about right. I think that they feel like if they get some receivers that can help Lamar stretch the field, they've already made their decision at running back. Ingram's no longer there, so continue to plug and play on defense as they've always been able to do. Stabilize that offensive line. 6 is about right.
Well, they got Bateman out of Minnesota. I thought they had Hollywood Brown. I just don't think they utilized the receivers that they had. I can't say they were bad.
These guys didn't get open, man. They could have got open more. Their offense looked really pretty average.
But is that
that's lack of separation?
Is that Jackson?
That's why he's always throwing the tight end.
No, come on. Is that his inability to find these guys, or is that his inability to hit these guys? Or you want a wide open like they're in college?
No.
I mean, we're not
I said separation. I did not say break. I did not say run your route and break wide open. I said separation.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's interesting. I think that's a little high, but number 5, Green Bay Packers. Obviously, this is considering.
Throw it out. Yeah, it makes
Aaron Rodgers is going to be
asterisk. Big asterisk.
Yeah, that's obviously considering he's going to be there. Number 4 is the Cleveland Browns. Wow. They have, and it says the first line, the Cleveland Browns are legit Super Bowl contenders in the AFC. Wow. They have them higher than the Baltimore Ravens. They have them higher than the Tennessee Titans. I don't know about that one. They have them number 4. Listen what it says. This offseason, Cleveland General Manager Andrew Berry also attacked Cleveland's defense that struggled in 2020. Whether it was up front with the edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney and tackle Malik Jackson, it looks like they have made strides to improve their defense. I wonder who let Jadeveon go. Like he was a non-factor. Who did that?
The Tennessee Titans sure did, and they're still number 7.
Number 3, I don't agree with this. I think this is high. I think these guys played over their skis last season. The Buffalo Bills at number 3.
He didn't like to hear it. He didn't like to hear it. Didn't like to hear it.
No, yeah. I think they played over their skis.
The division is not up for grabs, my friend. It's going to Port Orchard.
I think they played over their skis last season.
But they got better on defense.
They got better on defense. They had a decent defense.
That's too bad, Cameron.
Yeah,
that is terribly too bad for the division. And they got way better on defense.
Well, they got better. Let's just say that.
Okay.
The number 2 team is the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2 team by the Bleacher Report's power ranking, and then Need would say, we know why they're number 2, and then we don't even need to talk about the number 1 team, right? They signed. They won the Super Bowl, signing it, bringing everybody back. So we know who the number one team is. So that's an interesting list. We're gonna have to revisit that one to see kind of where we have them. We know where our feedback is. Let's see where they actually are as the season progresses. Cleveland, let's take a little break here, man. When we come back, we still got This Week in History, the segment that's taking the nation by storm. We're gonna get into we got some baseball talk, Cleveland. We got some Albert Pujols talk. We're gonna talk about Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown in round 2 and 3 and 4. I mean, we're gonna have to get into this one. And then we're gonna talk about Tony La Russa and the unwritten rules of baseball. A little bit to talk about that, and then I think this week we're going to cut your Mariners conversation down to 60 seconds. When you have two no hitters hit on you in 1 week, man, we're gonna have to cut some time.
It wasn't 1 week. It wasn't 1 week. It was a month. Okay.
Okay.
Don't get off.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut some of that time down. You guys lucky there was a no hitter thrown today that kind of took you guys off of having the biggest weight of that. So let's take a little break here, Cleveland. When we come back, man, we're gonna have this conversation. 2 no hitters thrown on you, like 2 weeks. Come on, yeah. Corey Seager, part of 9 no hitters. What's up with? Ain't he the star of the team?
No, he's not the star of the team, Cameron.
Oh, he's not the star?
No.
Yeah, okay. Oh, one of those rookies that you just caught up last week is the star. Is that what you're gonna say?
I didn't say this. I didn't say the star. He's an up and coming star.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. He was just signed last week.
Been in the organization for a while.
He just walks into stardom.
Mitch Haniger is the star of the team. He's leading the league in home runs.
That's the same thing I was saying about Kawhi, or excuse me, about Paul George giving the keys over to Rondo in a week. You're telling me now that the Mariners did this same thing. That's funny. That's kind of funny.
No, I'm not saying that at all. You got this all wrong, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about it right now. We're going to come back in about 10 seconds. All right, fans. Thank you guys for hanging with us. This is Cameron Buford, voice of the fans. Got my man Cleveland Steele up in the Northwest. How you doing, Cleveland?
Doing fantastic, Cam. Thanks for asking.
Hey, I noticed. I don't think I didn't notice the black hat with the camouflage bill. I still haven't seen my package in the mail. You want to talk? You want to talk to us about what that U represents on your hat?
Oh, well, thanks so much for asking, Cam. It stands for Euphoria. It is the U for Euphoria Clothing Company, a clothing line that myself and my wife started about 9 years ago. Great fashion, great organization, and that's what it stands for.
Well, again, you kind of just slid right by it. I still haven't seen my package in the mail.
Oh no, it's sitting right here. It's sitting right here on the floor. You can't see it, but as soon as you come up and we have our reunion, to kind of bury the hatchet and kind of catch up and make things whole. Package will be right here for you.
I'll be there next month, buddy. I'll be there next month.
There it is.
So, Cleveland, let's go ahead and tackle this week in history, man. We got a lot of stuff that happens across the world, man. I think that goes unforgotten a lot of time, unacknowledged, and we want to bring some of these things to life. Cleveland, May 20th, 1704. Elias Newell founded School for Slaves back in New York, 1704. In May 16th, 1792, Denmark abolished the slave trade way back in 1792. Cleveland, 5/16/1957. Brown versus Board of Education with school desegregation law back in 1957. 1910, Cleveland, Cy Young of the Cleveland Indians got his 500th win, Cy Young. Obviously, now they named the trophy after Cy Young. 500 wins. Woo. That's a lot, right?
It is.
In Major League Baseball. May 19th, 1935, the NFL, the National Football League, adopted the annual college draft, which began in 1936. That seems like so long ago. So they've been drafting for this for a long time. But remember, way back then, I think they had 15 rounds too. You might remember this. In May 19th, 1991, Willie T. Ribbs became the first black driver to make the Indianapolis 500. You familiar with that? Did you see that story? He had a story. Netflix, I think he has a story about him. It's pretty interesting.
I did.
On Monday, Albert Pujols gets cut by the Angels. On Thursday, I think he's in the lineup for the Dodgers. Actually, gets his first hit. Did the Angels make a bad move?
No.
So if he's able to still produce,
He got a hit
yeah, that was it.
in the Los Angeles Dodgers lineup. I mean, yeah, that's he was pumped up, to make his Dodgers debut and prove everybody wrong. But it's a long season, and there's a reason that the Angels let him go.
I mean, now that old boy is hurt, Trout's going to be off for a couple of weeks. You don't think they could have used his bat?
No, I don't. I'm not quite sure how much Albert has really left in the tank. I mean, perhaps a change of scenery, a different environment, a much more potent lineup can help him with his production. But I mean, Albert's a little long in the tooth, and that's
sure.
It's kind of how it happens. The fall off is not always graceful, even in baseball. And there's been talk that he's older than he's saying, and all of that. So yeah,
that's all them Dominican cats. So you follow baseball, and one of the things about baseball is they have a lot of the unwritten rules, and nobody knows what these unwritten rules are. They're not posted in the locker room clearly. Or how do they become a rule if it's unwritten? Who understands the fabric of these rules? And this issue with Tony La Russa, kind of whose side are you on? Tony La Russa throws his players under the bus by saying he told the guy to take the 3-0 wiffle ball pitch from the right fielder. The guy yaks it out of the ballpark. I mean, why put the right fielder in at pitcher if you don't expect him to get roped a few times? Like, what? Talk to us about the unwritten rule, your philosophy, or how you see the situation.
Well, first of all, there's, like you're saying, there's too many of them. They're extremely vague and not really communicated to everyone. Not everyone understands the unwritten rules in the same way. But if Tony Lewis, told him not to swing at the pitch and just take the walk or whatever, and all of a sudden he's acting like it's batting practice up by 11 runs. I mean, I think that's just a little bit of etiquette with regards to the game, but not necessarily, I guess it would be the equivalent of being up to, 55-0 with 2 minutes left and you're still throwing the ball. It's like, okay, well, it's kind of an unwritten rule that you shouldn't be running up the score when you don't necessarily have to. And he probably thought that, their bullpen was decimated and, they had some guy out there just trying to throw strikes. So,
well, let's talk about this. If to use your scenario, if they're up 55 and they're throwing with their third string quarterback versus, they're not throwing with their receiver. The receiver's not playing quarterback. They put the right fielder in who's throwing wiffle balls up there to a hitter. Like, that's his job to get up there and hit, isn't it?
Depends on how you look at it, Cam.
Okay, so
It,
are you
it, it
with?
is his job. It is his job to hit, but again, Charlie Russo's old school and probably feels slightly different about it than we do. And I'm pretty sure if he told the player, then they just disregarded what it is that he was trying to say, and if he didn't really tell the player, but it was
So
insinuated that that's what you should do, then that's different.
so then the next day they hit the guy, or they threw behind the player who hit the bat. I forget the dude's name. They hit behind, or they threw behind them, and kind of a warning pitch. And Tony La Russa was like, yeah, they should have hit him. What's up, Tony? What's up with that?
Yeah, he sounds like the old man in the dugout. And again, I mean, I know they're having some success early, but that's an easy way to lose your dugout.
Yeah, so we'll keep our eye on this and see how things shake out. Um, so Cleveland, what are your thoughts on? Do you have any questions about Chargers minicamp, how that went, the interaction with the coaches and players? All this you can actually find on Twitter. I posted my article, posted some of the quotes from the coaches. Do you have any questions about that situation?
No, it sounds like what I like to call the honeymoon phase of things. Everything is super fantastic in the beginning, and right now, the head coach is undefeated. Everything that he says is the gospel, and
Yeah.
hopefully, it continues to go that way. Once the season starts. But no, you don't really learn a whole lot from those OTAs mini camps. You just hope that everyone comes out in one piece, no one gets hurt, and every once in a while, like we had up in here, Seattle, I think it was 2012 or so. We had a few mini camps where the quarterback kind of looked extra special and was really into the playbook and kind of understood things and kind of launched a dynasty. So maybe something like that is going on over there in Chargers land, but for right now, don't really have too many questions about it.
Oh, whatever. So, I caught that. Don't think I didn't catch that. I'll tell you one of the couple things I was interested in hearing, and I obviously a sports fan, and obviously like the role of the sports writer because you get this inside communication. But they drafted Asante Samuel Jr. with the number 2 pick, 5'9", 180 pounds, out of Florida State. My question, and I had to ask the day he was drafted at draft day, and what I want to see is a lot of the receivers in the league today are 6 foot and above. In fact, they drafted the draft a couple picks after him. They drafted a receiver that's 6'1", 205. How do they anticipate Asante being able to compete with the ball with these receivers? I was curious about that. I want to Coach Staley answer the question, and Tom Telesco answer the question. Obviously, well, it's his total package. We've seen what he can do. Everything he has, he's able to high point the ball. He's able to because he doesn't have the height, he has the athletic ability, the toughness, to make up for that lack of height. Okay, I want to see that play out on the field. I'm eager to see. He can play the slot. I'd agree that he can play the slot. How he can play on the outside, the X or Y, play these big, tall receivers. I don't know. I'm anxious to see it. So that's some of the fun that I have talking to these guys. But we'll come back to that as the season progresses. Cleveland, your Mariners get no hit again, man. The Mariners alone have given up nearly 30% of the no hitters in the baseball season thus far. Talk to me. So you don't get 2 minutes today. Because of that, you don't get 2 minutes today. We're gonna limit you. We're gonna limit the fans say Vito. He don't get a minute. He gets 60 seconds to talk about the Mariners. The time is now 60 seconds, fans.
Seattle Mariners brought up their number one prospect, Jared Kelly.
Was he on the no hit team too?
Brought up the number one prospect, hit a home run. So we see the production. Brought up their number one prospect at pitching. Had a decent outing. Didn't end up with a victory. Had another outing this evening. Didn't see what happened. No hitters happen in baseball. They're happening a little bit too often in the Mariners, but at the same time, they're one game
30%.
behind. They're one game below 500, and they're just getting better.
What happened to first place?
They're not in first place right now. It's a long season, Cam. You know, they have time to work their way back into it. They've been working through some injuries. Their pitching staff, top of the rotation's a little beat up, but you know, there's plenty of time to make up the difference, Cam. And I have supreme confidence that they are laying the groundwork for something special here.
I don't know how long you can stick with the same guys who just don't produce.
Not the same guys. These are younger, talented, more.
They're in the same damn uniform. They play in the same damn stadium.
I'm not gonna press this issue. I'm simply gonna give you facts as we unfold this segment every week, and we'll see where we're at.
So let me ask you a question. One last question on these damn Mariners. When you go to Safeco Field, or what is it, T-Mobile now? Or is it T-Mobile or Lose Your Life Stadium?
T-Mobile Park now.
Lose Your Life Stadium. When you go there, do you have more fun eating the dead crickets or watching the ball game?
Watching the ball game. I don't eat crickets, Cam.
Oh, yeah. That's a delicacy up there, I thought.
No, it's not.
No?
No.
That's not on the menu no more, or what?
It may be on the menu. It's not a delicacy. It's a fad. It's a novelty.
Cleveland, I love having fun with you, man. Thanks for doing the show with me. I appreciate it. Fans, thank you guys for tuning in. Cleveland, let the people know where they can find you to bust your chops about the damn losing ass Mariners.
And the winning ass Lakers. At Clevie Wonder on Twitter and Cleveland still on Instagram.
You can find me, as always, Voice of Fans on Instagram. What's Good in Sport on Twitter. However you listen to this podcast, if you're watching it on YouTube, hit us with a comment. Let us know that you're tuning in. Let us know what you enjoy. If you're listening to this on a podcast, we thank you for tuning in. However you listen to us, wherever you're listening to us, we thank you for tuning in. Fans, just let us know what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. All feedback is good feedback. Tell a friend about the show. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Rate and review our podcast. And as always, fans, I want to thank you for making our voice your choice. Cleveland, have a good one, man. We'll talk soon.
Can't wait, bro. Talk soon.